To start day 2 of the Summer Showdown Qualifiers, we have the Atlanta Reign versus the Boston Uprising, and it's been a wild day. It's been already a wild qualifiers. Bit of swinging, seeing if they can get any pulls with the knife, and I think that might have been into a tank from the Boston Uprising, but Victoria jumps up, headshots Hawk while he was low, couldn't get to cover in time, and that burst damage, that punish that Sojourn provides has been so pivotal, and although you have to build up to that charge, and you don't have that consistency that maybe Ash does with the dynamite, it's been great for the Junker Queen to get that back. Here's the Sound Bearer and the rally from Atlanta Reign. They want this point so bad, and they want to keep it, and they surge into the Boston Uprising, removing the main healer, removing the only tank, and even if Boston gets some trades, they just really don't even have the men to go back to the objective.
Oh, maybe a little bit too aggressive there from Ultraviolet, but still, if they can get the stagger here on Valentine, it's all going to be worth it, and indeed they do.
And Kai is farming!
I expect better from you.
And critically, with that rally expended as well, there's not going to be too much to deal with Nero's Blade, who's going forward, forward, forward. A breakout from Spawn with a Rampage into a 1 versus 5. It's brazen from Punk. But will it be rewarded? The answer's no, Lemon, because guess what? 100% was just around the corner. Atlanta Reign strike first.
And Boston have no ults, and they only need to win one fight to take the round and force the third one, so they can see how much they can bait out the Atlanta Reign and apparently pick apart. They don't even need ultimates. It was Atlanta that pulled the trigger first on the overclock and got nothing. The ult value from Atlanta is pretty abysmal too. The blade from here, and we'll check in with Kai to see now that he has a charged up shot. Can he shut down the blade, but doesn't even have sights on him as the Rampage from Punk pierces through 3, and all 3 fall. Punk just got a 3K and might have just saving this fight for the Boston Uprising. We might be just going to round 3.
Critical timing there for Punk. Once again, catches Atlanta Reign midway through their rotations, and the internal...
So Atlanta Reign still have quite a gap to close, even with Punk on, but Boston are still hanging around, so Atlanta Reign are actually going to engage into them while Punk is in here. The Rampage starts, it hits 2 of the Boston Uprising. Hawk did a good job of ending what he started, and the knife pierces the heart of Valentine, and Atlanta Reign take a fight.
Boston actually staying.
Gladiators lost. You can have the best players, but it's how they work together that matters.
Coming to this final fight as well. Sound barrier advantage for Faith. That could be what puts this one in the ground. OG can't even touch in time. Oh, gravity is not his ally, Lemon. That is twice now. Play for point.
Oh, I love the dono wall strategy of Atlanta Reign of like, we don't have to force them down. I'm just going to go to the objective and see how you react. And Boston reacted quite well. It's just always Victoria getting charged up and killing everything. Now he's at 94. Does he connect on the Nero? And it doesn't matter because Punk is behind them and axing everyone to death. So Atlanta Reign don't even get a take out of that too.
All right.
Rampage, and while Boston are in his face, and he gets them low, but Atlanta Reign just can't seem to confirm any of these kills. And we're left with less than a minute for Atlanta Reign before they're full health by the Boston Uprising. Fight, but Punk needs that healing now, and he's getting slowed by Nero. He can't even leave, even if Punk wants to. And the rest of the dominoes and the chickens will die behind the Boston Uprising's front line, and Atlanta Reign at the last second will get the point unlocked.
I love that secondary. Uprising gonna have so much trouble touching, and there's the wall!
Oh, the flail on Punk too, but he still came with a Rampage, and it's 1 meter left, and the ults come out for the Atlanta Reign, who've already used 2, including the Blizzard, but somehow Boston contested, but not until now. Atlanta Reign 2 cap was a little expensive, but still the job is done.
I'm surprised Boston aren't being more aggressive here, but they will be worried about the wall.
How does Victoria not kill somebody there? At least it did a ton of damage, and that opens up Valentine, who's able to get dash resets, and Nero's immediately out of ice block. There's only 6 seconds left, and Atlanta Reign have to think about touching, and OG is just getting smacked around. He can't even get to the cart. So Atlanta Reign's push will end right here, right now, halfway to C.
Point where the cleave from Nero can do huge damage.
Oh, did he get the knife on Ultraviolet? Doesn't matter. They all coalesce, including the dive from Valentine. And without that Brigida, Atlanta Reign are going to suffer in just having barely any heals. They might be able to leave thanks to OG, but they are trapped in here and going to the slaughterhouse. So Boston getting the point much, much quicker than the Atlanta Reign.
Well, honestly, I think that defense could have worked out alive with a Rampage ready to go.
Oh, the Rampage just centered right onto Nero and maybe even going for Hawk at that moment. Punk is in the corner, but the animal will buy back, and Valentine got deflected. The overclock shot from Kai into Ultraviolet. What a play! Boston, also just capped point B, and they have 4 minutes for C.
What a
Rain. Boston have already started harassing the high ground, but Hawk has dropped. He's used Shout. Nero needs to heal. The rally starts from the attack, and they just hope to bulldoze and bully Atlanta right away. They're waiting for OG to get barrier in time, but it's too little, too late. The bulldoze has occurred, and Boston Uprising are on series point. And he gets just picked off by Victoria with a headshot. So the defense are ahead only by 1 as Atlanta Rain shield bash out of the fight. But some people were still involved. Nero was all up in there with Hawk. And a bit of a disconnect from Atlanta Rain will cost them severely with their lives. Valentine just played and killed 2. And that's the end of that. Kind of shied away from wanting to int at that moment, so got a bit of overhealth from the shout of Hawk, and I'd rather them be more calculated than measured than go for the 5K clip, you know, for YouTube and all that, but Atlanta Raid will still get point A.
I really like the strat there from Atlanta.
Now Victoria's above him, he'll keep that in mind, so Kai might want to rotate somewhere safer, throws the bomb down at the end to put pressure on those supports, but Atlanta Rain are just getting surrounded and torn apart by the Boston Uprising, who win a fight.
This is a good illustration, Lemon.
Boston have already had their Genji drop. Valentine going after Ultraviolet, gets him into 1 bar and is not able to kill him. Massive peel by Atlanta Rain. And, well, will they be able to live and deal with Punk? They do, and without that, Boston just hoping to die on the card and hope that they have a recontest, but I'm not sure they do. Punk uses the rampage, hits 3, including the supports of Atlanta Rain. OG has a critical health, finishes him off, I can't believe Punk missed the axe on that Genji. Either way, Atlanta Rain have 3 on the cart in 45 seconds, and they lock it in. Maybe take a few more seconds off, but this is a point A cap for Boston.
That is bloody filthy, and also Victoria had a huge brain moment there. Boston Uprising as a whole, they know
cap now because Atlanta Rain have respawn advantage and they're wasting time. They're contesting when they can, but eventually Boston have warded away everyone from the cart. OG's dead. Hawk's gonna contest at the last second, and Ultraviolet's rallying just to keep Hawk up. It's a 2-on-3 favoring the Boston Uprising, and respawn advantage for Atlanta Rain. And will it? Atlanta Rain have Bob at the end, and they go back towards it as some kind of safety measure. And Boston, they start off the fights well. It started off 5-on-4. You killed Ultraviolet, but Boston can't finish off fights. But you know someone who can? It's Nero with the 4K.
Nero fiddled while Boston burned under the dynamite of Kai. Atlanta Rain hold Boston Uprising at the end of Gibraltar B. Many an attack has been stuck here, but none with quite so
much. Can sustain and make the most out of this fight while a DPS is missing. And maybe waiting up to the Punk Rampage, which takes forever to charge up, by the way, as Nero gets up in the face of MCD, and that's an easy collapse as Atlanta Rain take the fight.
Kai's so smart to use
flight kills from both teams, and without Victoria, Boston still think it's winnable, especially after slaying Ultraviolet and Kai. Valentine's Genji has been impressing me time and time again, and if Boston win this fight cleanly, if this gets up to 70-80 meters, we could see Boston set themselves up for success. But what do they fight back with? Nero already dashes in, the bomb is added to the equation, and it's back and forth, but Atlanta are up by 1, and now 2, and more. Great shots from Kai, and always dependable. Time not to choke. The rally from MCD will buy you some extra forgiveness. Nero gets actually whip shot back into Boston Uprising, but still survives, and without Hawk, Atlanta Rain just have nothing to stand behind, and Atlanta Rain still have to contest the card. This is over. The Boston Uprising will take the series 3-1 against the Atlanta Rain.
Once again, I feel very disconcerted by all of those homogenous predictions, because this is anybody's meta. It's anybody's game.